we can set up these really good decision environments for ourselves. We can make all of these pre-commitments, right? As Danny Kahneman said to me, you can find someone who really loves you but doesn't care about your feelings, right? That's what Astro is going to do for me. He wants what's best for me in the long run, but he's not worried about telling me to stop now, even though he knows it will make me sad, because it's good for me in the long run. Those are all really good things. But in the end, you have to be willing to execute on them. And so the question is, like, how do you get to that point? And there, I really think about this particular thing that really great poker players do, is they reframe it. So essentially, a lot of the problems that we have in our decision-making life has to do with that we all want to have a positive self-narrative, right? So as we're sort of updating our self-narrative, we want those updates to be positive. And there's things that don't play into that really well, like being wrong. Right? So we don't like to be wrong, and a lot of our reasoning tries to stop us from being wrong. That's sort of classic, like, confirmation bias or motivated reasoning. And quitting goes into that category, is that we feel like when we're quitting, our natural response is, well, then the choice that I made to start in the first place must have been wrong. It must have been a mistake. Not true, but it's a little bit the way that we feel. And so quitting kind of goes against this instinct that we have in every moment of our life to be updating our narrative in a positive way. But here's the thing about that self-narrative. The way we feel about ourselves is only relative to other people around us. It's always like, how are we doing compared to some sort of reference class, right? So how am I doing compared to other Xers? How am I doing compared to other poker players? How am I doing compared to other people who share some sort of feature like me? And obviously, I want to think that I'm doing well compared to them. You can very deliberately change the habit of mind, which has to do with what am I comparing? What is the feature, the dimension on which I am comparing myself to other people? So I am not suggesting that you stop comparing yourself to other people. It would be great if you could. It would be great if you could just sort of like be completely mindful and completely untether yourself from comparisons to other people. Good luck with that. All right, so let's just live with this is sort of how we think, and instead change the feature that we compare ourselves to. So when I fold a really difficult hand, I feel good about myself because I'm not comparing myself to having lost a hand. I'm comparing myself to having folded in a situation in which I know most people would not. And if most people would not, that is something unique about me that I am executing well that other people I know would not execute well. So this ability to say, I have a ton of money in this pot. And when I have a ton of money in this pot, this is a situation where nobody folds. But I recognize that I ought to because my expected value is negative at the moment. And I am seeing something that other people don't, and I am acting on it in a way that other people won't. And so it turns what would sort of, if we were just going by instinct, would feel like a loss into a win. And you can do that in all sorts of ways.